Hello friends, hi and welcome back to my channel. Happy to have you. Today I'm doing a daily makeup routine video. I have done one of these in the past, but that one is more than a year old and a lot has happened on my channel since then, so I felt it couldn't hurt to make a new one, pop some more information in there, but it's really not like much have changed. If you didn't know already, I used to be a professional makeup artist and my makeup routine is curated to perform. My days of creatively experimenting with makeup are over. I much prefer to just stick with what works. I feel like the beauty industry or the makeup industry, it's so hard to navigate through it, and we are inspired to buy new products all the time from so many different sources and influences just because we haven't found anything that just like really is perfect for us yet. And my makeup routine is curated to be the best looking as possible, of course, but other than that, to be long lasting. Generally, when I have done my makeup, I don't touch up. It will last all day, and that is my #1 priority. I feel like my makeup looks perfect when I have just applied it, but if I wanted something that looked even better right after application, I might do a few products differently, like definitely some liquid or cream products that just looks like amazing when they first are applied. But what's the use if after 10, 6, 2 hours, or even right when you arrive at work, if there's a huge difference already in how your makeup looks and already then your satisfaction with what it's looking like goes down, then what's the point? When I have done my makeup, I don't touch up. I don't bring my makeup around with me except from lip products that I need to touch up on. And I'm just gonna go through my makeup routine, and obviously you're just gonna pick up on whatever you find helpful. So let's get started. First, I'm gonna get my hair out of the way. This is not my look. Then the first thing I do is I go in with a primer. Most of my products, especially for the skin, are by Hourglass Cosmetics. I really swear by their products, and maybe the #1 thing I swear by is the primer. If you're not already using a primer, you're really doing yourself a huge disservice. A primer, if good and something you can breathe through so you don't like press off your makeup, locks in your makeup and protects your skin both from the makeup but also from pollution. And in this primer there's also slight SPF in it, so while obviously you should be wearing sunscreen, this is all I use in winter, and I'm just happy to have some of that sweet SPF. A primer also makes it easier to remove your makeup in the evening. It makes it much easier on your skin to wear makeup, but of course all this is granted you have something of high quality, because otherwise it's just gonna make your skin unable to breathe. After that, I go in with a foundation, and I do have two that I use, but this is the one I use the most. I also swear by this. I'm not a huge fan of foundation sticks in general, but this one is just amazing. A very little goes a long way. I just make a bunch of these tiny dots, and because the product is so pigmented, I just really buff it out. I don't press hard, but I just really work it around until I have like a nice even coverage. And what I like about this foundation is also it just really warms up to like your own skin tone. Like I feel like if I wear this or a shade lighter, it doesn't really make much of a difference, because once it's really warmed in there, it just really blends in so well. I won't call this product dry because it isn't, but it's obviously also not a liquid. But what I really like about that is that once I have applied it and I really worked it in there, it just doesn't move. Like it just stays and it doesn't crease because it's so well worked out. Like the layer is so thin, and obviously you can use more for a better coverage, but I like to just even out the skin tone. Then I use a concealer. This is also Hourglass, and I use it very sparingly. Your concealer has a tendency to crease more just because you do move your eyes so much throughout the day, and you do create lines around the eyes as you move your face. But this concealer, like the foundation, even though this is slightly more liquidy, it is just so pigmented. Going in with a different brush now, that again a little goes a long way. and I tend to just stay like at the inner corner of the eye. I don't go like all the way under. I mean, I say that, but right now I really got a lot on there. But that's sort of like the thing with just like having the same makeup routine every day. Like sometimes it just, you know, I'm not careful with it. I'm really not a perfectionist, so sometimes I'll accidentally put on a little too much and then I'll just blend it out a little bit more. I really try not to be perfect with it, and when I'm not doing this on camera, this will also take me like 8 minutes maximum. Then after that I do go into Lock It with a powder. I won't really say Lock It because honestly this stays on its own, but the powder I'm using is without talc. I will go into this in another video because this is something I could talk more about, but you want to get yourself a powder not made from talc, in my professional opinion. This is made from mica, and outside of not being like super absorbent, which you don't want even if you have an oily skin tone, but aside from that, it does have like a slight, I won't even call it shimmer, it's just like a slight shine to it, which might sound redundant with a powder, but the thing is, like when you put on a matte powder on top of your face, you take away like the skin quality, where if you have something that's just slightly shiny, shiny is too much of a word, like something less than shiny, but if you have something like that, it's just gonna give that appearance of skin right back, and it's just gonna reflect the light beautifully. It is definitely like such a beautiful finish, and even if you use almost no makeup and you want to use just a little bit, a powder like this is a good choice. I use the luminous light from Hourglass, and it doesn't look transparent when you look at it like this, but it really is when it goes on the face. All of their powders are. This is one of the slightly more shimmery ones because I like that look, but they do have one called Dim Light, which that's just pure pearlescent. It's not, yeah, pearlescent, that's the effect I'm looking for. It's not shimmery at all. That one a lot of people swear by. Then after that I go in with my blusher. I'm using Orgasm from NARS. It's a really good look with my cool toned skin. It's also great for neutrals. And what I do here, I apply it from my temple and then I go down rather than starting at the cheek of my apple. It just gives a slightly more natural effect, and then I also bring it up and around the temple just a little bit. Like, I'm not super careful with it. I just, you know, I know where it's supposed to sit, so I just go in there and like move, and you just blend it out well, and then it looks really nice and natural. So I use eyeshadow, but if you don't, you can take a little bit of your blusher, and if not blusher, then bronzer, and just like, you know, even with the same brush, just put a slight amount on top of your eyelids, because it's gonna like tie the entire look together, and it's just gonna look like the color is truly coming from within rather than from makeup. So that's one of my favorite tips. Then this is enough, especially in winter. I don't necessarily feel like I would need bronzer, but since I really like it, I do go in with a bit of bronzer. Just go in with the same brush as I was using my powder with, and I actually just use it in like my hairline. Put a little bit in the shades of my face. Not to be confused with contouring, which is just something I'm not a fan of. Whatever is like very time consuming and is meant to like give the illusion of a different face, it's not for me. Then after that I go in with a highlighter. This is my favorite highlighter. I've had it for like 5 years, or I bought 2 of them 5 years ago because it was a limited edition Dior, and I'm on number 2. I mean, this should be thrown out, it's so old, but I love it so much, so I won't. And I just go in with like a highlighter brush. You can also use a fan brush, which I've also used for many years. Again, here I know it just goes on top of the cheekbone, and I'm not super careful with it. A good highlighter for you is supposed to look completely transparent when the light isn't hitting. Like, you're not supposed to be able to see it on your face at all that you're wearing it when you're in the shade. Like, then you know you found your perfect highlighter. It's only when the light hits that you should be able to see it, and that's also why I'm not super careful with like where I put it, because it's only gonna be seen when the light hits, because it is very transparent on my skin tone. Now I'm done with my skin, and I just want to say that sometimes for the most natural look, it can be better to wear multiple different products for a more dimensional look, and then a little goes a long way for each product. So that's sort of like the stance that I take. Obviously, my makeup routine is only minimalistic because it is so from the perspective that I used to be a professional makeup artist, and also from the perspective that I only have like almost one product in its category. Like I don't add a lot of new stuff, but I do like to wear a lot of different products at once. Then I go in with eyeshadow, and even though I'm a makeup girl, I'm also really not a perfectionist. I am low maintenance, high maintenance. I like to think that way. So I also wear an eyeshadow every day because I love the look, but I make it as simple as possible. I just use one eyeshadow. I dab it on my blending brush directly, and then I just start blending it into the crease of my eye. If you have like very typical Western eyes like almond eyes or very round eyes or hooded eyes, this is a very appropriate look. And then the thing I like about it is that it gives dimension because of the shape of my eye and the fact that I have this like deep set crease, even though I'm just wearing one color. So I'm going to do the same on the other eye. And I'm using a neutral shade from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's really important if you want to do something low maintenance and just do something that's so easy and that everyone can do, to have an eyeshadow that just like really blends like butter. It makes it so much easier. You can't really make a mistake, or it's very hard because you can always just blend it out. You just blend until it looks flawless basically. And then you're probably noticing I'm going under my eye now as well. I do that to sort of like frame the eye. It always feels a little bit weird at first when you've just done it, but just trust the process and let it look like this until you have applied your mascara as well. Then I am going to tightline my eyelashes. I don't do this every day. I do that whenever I kind of feel like it, or if I'm, you know, have something special. But just for the sake of the video, I am going to incorporate it. And what I do is I take a kohl eyeliner, something that's non-transferable. I really like this new one from Bobbi Brown. I hold my eyelid out a bit, and then I just color in between my lashes. So it's not on the wet line, it's not on top of the lashes. I just literally like brush through the lashes as close as I can get to my eyelid as possible. It's just gonna look much fuller by the root of your eyelashes, and it's gonna give a more defined eye, but still in a very natural way. And this is something that's really hard to do, or I found was really hard to do the first 5 to 10 times, but just like with everything else, you'll quickly get a hang of it if you just stick with it. And by then it's gonna be one of these, you know, very subtle things that makes a difference. Like, it's just gonna look so pulled together, even though it's such a simple thing. And those are my favorite types of put together looks. The ones that you can't really point out what you did. Then I go in with my mascara, and I am using a new mascara because the one that I normally use, I haven't been able to find for the longest time. So I'm using Bobbi Brown Smoky Eye Mascara. I am getting used to this one. I actually find it quite nice. So I always start by the root and then I make small brushing movements. But one thing I have found, even like as a professional makeup artist, the way people like their eyelashes to look and do the mascara is so individual that I'm not gonna give you advice on how to do that, because I feel like most of us has been using mascara for so many years. We got it down to a science, like to exactly what we like. It's such a personal preference. I was blessed with very long and already bended lashes, so I got quite lucky. So for example, like if you have shorter lashes or very straight lashes, maybe don't take my advice on how I do my eyelashes or what mascara I use. By the way, if you have very straight lashes and you don't want to bend them, is that the word I'm looking for? Bend them every day with like the eyelash bender? I'll know the word by the time this video is edited. It's so annoying. But what I was gonna say is I've heard a really good mascara for when you don't want to do that and you have straight lashes is the Roller Lash from Benefit. I've just heard so many people enjoying it. I don't have it's just not for me personally. I haven't tried it for that reason because it's not what I need, but I have heard so much good stuff of it, so I will leave a link to that as well in the description. Then I am very close to being done. the next step is going to take me 15 seconds, like getting done here, but since we are talking about it, I'm gonna take a little bit longer. Now I got my eyebrows, and I don't know how much you can see, but they are a little bit all over the place. I like to keep my eyebrows rather well kept at all times. It means I like to have them waxed into a very nice shape, and then I dye them myself at home, just because I don't have to then draw in my eyebrow at all. Of course, it wouldn't hurt to like do it in the places where there's a little hole or something like that, and I also do occasionally when it has really gone too far. But generally, even if there is holes, I tend to just like leave it alone, because when you are someone who likes a natural look, and aside from that, like me, I still wear a full face of makeup, leaving a completely natural brown just does so much. Even if you're used to just drawing them in a little bit with a powder or a just a pen, I still think the most natural look is just letting them stay natural. But then of course that is so much easier when it's well kept. And then when you got it like that, it also takes 2 seconds to set your brows with a clear eyebrow gel, which is what I did, because if I didn't, my eyebrows literally just go wild on me because they are so long. I could cut them, but I like this look. Oh, I forgot to mention something about the eyelash. I just wanted to say about the mascara that I don't put mascara on my under lashes. And the reason I avoid this is because it just looks so much softer. Like, you still get a framed eye because you have the eyeshadow underneath the eye, but it's in a much softer way than if you were to use mascara on the lower lashes as well. As soon as I discovered this when I was working in the industry, I've never gone back. I think this is so much more delicate and soft, but still bold and defined. So the last thing I like to do, I don't do this every day, but it's one of those things that as well, that it just looks unexplainably put together. Like, people might not be able to like really put their finger on what it is, and it is, I go in with a lip liner in the color of my own lips, so a nude, and I just line ever so slightly. I just sharpen and define my natural lip line so I don't draw over, and I don't even always go to like the corners of my lip, and then most of the time that'll look fine, but I can also just like go in with my finger and blend it out a little bit. And then I go in with, this is my new lip gloss from Chanel, because of the other one I was using for years ran obsolete as well. That's what happens when you fall in love with products, isn't it? They stop making them, all of the products that you love. So anyway, I just use a little bit on the middle and then do the classic lip thing. And then my lips just look so natural and plump and slightly wet, which I think is a really nice look. It's still very natural, and that is it. Yeah. So of course, again, I think this looks very natural, toned down, like for full makeup look. In my opinion, this is yeah, very soft and quite natural. But again, it's really curated with the thought of having it lasting all day. Whenever I get home, even if it's 6, 10, or sometimes even 12 hours later, I will look more or less like this, because the primer just locks in the rest perfectly. I'm using so little, and each product that I'm using is just something that really stays in place. And again, when you're wearing less, there's less to fall off. You can easily sweat and breathe through your makeup, and generally whenever I do really sweat, I'll see the pearling on top of the makeup, and if I then take like a napkin and blot myself, the makeup won't come with it. It's that locked in. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I quite enjoy making beauty videos every once in a while, but of course it's hard for me to make a lot of content on beauty, again, because like I just don't change anything up. Everything is so set in stone, but this is what I do. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate giving it a thumbs up so that I know. It really does help out my channel. And if you're here for the first time, not already subscribed, consider doing that, because I would love to keep you around. Thanks for watching, and farewell!